I'm here with Doug Flynn, former Major Leaguer, and I've got the '86 Topps card that has many legends about if he has ever signed one and would he ever sign one. And Doug, I'd like you just to tell a little bit about the history of this card.
Well, that was my last baseball card. Got released in that year, 1986, and came back home to Kentucky, where I'm from and born and raised. Ran into my pastor got me involved in something called the Kentucky Baptist Homes for Children. So they were doing an endowment fund. He wanted to raise some money for it. So we thought about some ideas of how to draw attention to the cause that we were doing. So we had some people that were already going to give a substantial amount of money. We said, why don't we, as we know they're going to give the cards, let's auction off those cards. And then we already knew how much money was coming in. So I held off from signing any of them. And he died. The guy that was putting this together passed away. So when he passed away, that was about a year and a half period, I guess. I just decided, I'm not going to sign any of the cards unless I can do something for charity with it.
Okay. Do you think it's possible that you ever signed any of the cards before you
Not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge.
I know they came out in '86 before you went to spring training. If someone approached you with one in spring training, had you already made the decision you weren't going to sign that card for any reason then?
Yeah, that is no.
Possible?
It might be possible, but to my knowledge, I've never signed one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And last night here at the Children's Charity Classic, which you are the host, you signed 5 of these cards. Is that correct?
That's correct.
For the charity to raise money.
Yep.
And these.
And you have one of them.
I have one of them in my hand. Very happy about that. But I'm curious to know if you plan to sign any more of these in the future, or how you.
I don't. I don't know. My plans. I'm still in shock that somebody did what they did last night.
How did that happen? Why don't you explain how that happened?
There's some friends of mine who happened to said he was going to get even with me because the night before at our event I had brought him up to sing on stage, and he said I'll get even. So he brought 4 cards up to Johnny Bench last night, and he said, Johnny said, this is Doug's card. Johnny took them, and they'd already had this planned. I didn't know about it, and said these cards have never been signed. This is Doug's Tiger card. It's his last card. He's never signed any. We think we ought to raise some money for charity. And as you know, the bidding started bumbling back and forth, and I was sitting there with a shocked look on my face because I didn't want to sign them.
Right.
But as people started saying it'd be good for charity, and so it helped raise a little bit of money for that charity. So that's why I did it. I'd still like to think that we could do more for charity with it, and I know I've been offered a lot of money for the card, because it fills out a lot of sets for guys. I've had people offer me as much as $2,500 for it. I've also had people say, we'll make a check out to your charity if you will give us a card, and that would be something that would really be nice to do if I knew I could help raise a lot of money for the children's charity. So, but right now I'm still in shock about it, and you don't know how many of those I got at home.
I'm sure.
I've got a bunch of them at the house, but I very seldom sign anything that comes to my house anymore. I know there's a lot of people that have taken advantage. I certainly don't get anything for them, so if I ever did do anything, it would have to be for an awfully good cause.
Okay. And just briefly, why don't you tell folks what the what the Children's Charity Classic is all about, and what this charity is?
This charity started, it's our 30th year. We raise money for 30 different children's charities here in the state of Kentucky. Our website is children'scharityBG.com, and it tells you a little bit about the celebrities. We have Johnny Bench as a co-host, and we just put on a show and raise money for the 30 different charities, and it's pretty neat. All the money basically stays around the central Kentucky area, although some of our charities certainly feed outside of the state with some of the agencies that they work with. It services about 350 kids, and most of the charities that we deal with, we are their biggest fundraiser. And so last night we raised a little extra money because of this baseball card. So that is official, because I remember doing that last night.
And I had you write 1 of 5 on here, meaning that last night you signed 5 of them.
5 cards is all.
There's a possibility for a good cause for charity in the future. You may not.
I may not.
This is one of the original 5, but we'll see how it goes.
That's right. It's one of the original 5. I will never sign anything else like that again. And yours is the only one that's numbered.
Yeah. The others I noticed, I think, did you put your uniform number on there?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I saw one I thought that had 23 on it, but maybe.
I may have, because it's a habit of doing that, so I may have.
Okay.
I may have.
And-
And that might have been to Johnny.
Yeah, yeah. Johnny Bench was one of the bidders who bought one of the cards, and then there were
Really?
3 other individuals who probably don't know much about the collectible aspect of what I'm holding in my hand.
One of them does.
But one of them did.
One of them is a collector, but he doesn't collect baseball cards. He collects mostly baseballs.
Right.
But they were all people that I knew. They're all people that have teased me and made light of me my whole life. But they were trying to do something. I know their heart was in the right place the other night. So.
Folks, Doug Flynn is a wonderful man, not just a great former baseball player, but a wonderful man. He does a lot for charity in our area, and I appreciate it very much him talking with us about this card.
Thank you. My pleasure.